All right, so spell checker. So basically what a spell checker does is it goes through a list of words and checks to see if the word that you're trying to spell check, whether that is in the list of words in the dictionary. If it is in the dictionary, then it assumes you spelled it right. And if it is not in the dictionary, it assumes you spelled it wrong, right? So the first thing it wants us to do is write a print 10 method that prints out the first 10 words of the dictionary array. So we're going to need a for loop for this. Just go up to 10. We're going to system.out.print dictionary at position I. So this is going to go from 0 to 10, or 0 to 9, sorry, and stop when it gets to 10, and print out the first 10 elements of the dictionary. Okay, and then the second part just goes through the entire dictionary, taking a word as a parameter and returning true if it's in the dictionary array. So we need to write a public Boolean, so it's going to return true or false, spell check, and it's going to take a string as a parameter. Right? It returns true or false, so it's Boolean. Has to be public so that everybody can use it. Has to be called spell check because that's what they said. And then it takes a string word as a parameter. So now all we have to do is go through the entire dictionary. So we're going to go all the way up to dictionary.length. Oops. One at a time. So we have a loop that counts from 0 up to length -1. So we just say if word equals dictionary at position I, return true. All right, so I have two questions for you. Why can't I do that? So hold on, don't type it in yet. I mean, you can type it in, but don't press enter. So my first question is, why can I not say if word equals dictionary I, return true? This is something that you will definitely get a question on the AP exam. They will try to trick you with this in multiple choice. Ten more seconds. Okay, why will equals not work in this scenario? Yes. Everyone that typed in is correct, all for slightly different reasons, but all ultimately the same reason. Equals means, do they inhabit the same place in memory? And it works with integers and Booleans because the number 5 is literally stored in the same place in memory, and all integers share that memory space for the number 5. Whereas strings are objects, and they can either represent exactly the same space in memory, or there can be two separate strings with the same value, like the same contents, but they're in different places in memory. So even if both strings say hello, you created a dictionary and somebody sent you a word, those are different places in memory. So they will not be equals equals the same, but they will be dot equals the same, because that will look at the contents of the word, not the memory location. All right. So I still have one more bug. What am I missing from this code? And you can just type it in. What did I forget to do in my code? Okay, so I forgot to return false, so I should do this. Else turn false. Peter has turned into a negative cow. No. So what happens if I do it this way is it looks at dictionary at position 0, the first word, tells me whether it equals the word I passed in. If it is the same, it returns true. If it's not the same, it returns false. So it never checks, unless it happens to be the first word, it never checks the second word or the third word or the fourth word or the fifth word, right? We want to give it a chance to go through the entire dictionary, and if it gets to the end without returning true, then we can return false. All right, uncomment to test part 1. I'm just going to go bold here. Comment 2. All right. Cats, K-A-R-C-A-T-Z. I'm hoping that'll be false. Illegal start of type. Line 8. Oops. Weird. I did that once. Okay. Illegal start of type. Oh, I didn't declare a method. But void print 10. All righty. So I printed out the first 10 words and then said cats is misspelled. So let's see. Wood. Let's see if it finds a wood. So this is how you test your code. That's okay. Wood is spelled correctly. Cats is misspelled. So anyway, didn't they tell me to change my word? All right. Well, anyway, any questions on how to do the spell checker with a regular for loop. This is actually a good exercise to do here, the practice loops with arrays. It will just kind of solidify in your mind how to deal with arrays. Right, it's just it's asking you, like, select all the letters that are part of the substring. So 1 to 6 will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it'll be PIDER. So this is a really good tool to use to kind of solidify your knowledge. All right, enhanced for loops. Okay, coding exercise. There we go. Spell checker 2. Rewrite the spell check word using an enhanced for each loop. Okay. So let's write a new spell check method. It's going to be public Boolean spell check, and it's taking a word as a parameter. So our last one had a for loop that went from 0 to the length. This time we're going to say for string word to check in the dictionary. For each word to check in the dictionary, if word to check equals the word that got passed in, return true. False at the end of the for loop. So it does exactly the same thing, except this time we used an enhanced for loop here. I created a new string variable because that's what the array is made of, strings. And I said, for each one in the dictionary, which is this, an array of strings, if they are equals, return true. If you get all the way through the for each loop and haven't found it, then you can return false. Okay. So, and then the little, what's the other one here? Print starts with first letters. So what is that supposed to do? I'm guessing you're supposed to print out anything that starts with those letters. So let's see if we can do it. So it's going to be a void because we're not going to actually return anything. We're just going to print it out. And we're getting a string, the first letters. This is a little trickier. We're going to have to take a substring of the length of each word in the dictionary. And I think if we substring something that is longer than a word itself, we might get an error. So there's a few things we have to check here. So I know we're going to need a loop. And And I'm going to use an enhanced for loop because it's easier. Word to check in dictionary. The first thing I'm going to say is if word to check dot length is less than first letters dot length, return false. Okay, so if the word in the dictionary that I'm checking isn't even long enough to have as many letters as the first letters, then it obviously does not start with those first letters because it's not even long enough. So I can just return false right away if the lengths, like if it's not, if the word I'm checking is not long enough. And I could put an else statement here. It doesn't really matter because obviously it's going to return there if it is not long enough. So I can just say if word to check substring from 0 to first letters dot length is equal to first letters so if it does have it, then first letters. Oh, print out the word to check. All right, so if I take the substring, like say the first letters are ABC. So if I take a substring of 0 to 3 of the word in the dictionary that I'm currently checking, so if the substring of the word from 0 to 3 is the same as first letters, ABC, then it must start with ABC. And we should print it out. So that's literally the whole method right there. We don't have to return anything. We just print it out if it starts with those letters. So let's see. Checker.print starts with A. Let's see if this works. Oh, I think I have an extra parentheses there. Cannot find symbol word to check. Oh, this is another confusing thing about Java. So length of an array is a property of that array. Length of a string is a method. I don't know why. It's just annoying truth. I should fix that problem. Return false. Oops. Oh. Right, we're not returning anything. Okay, so let's do it this way. I'm going to put an if statement inside my if statement. What I just did was I said, if the length of the word I'm checking is at least greater than or equal to the length of the letters I'm checking, then I can actually check it. All right, cannot find symbol. Oh, equals. I hope what you are getting from this is that coding is always iterative. Even I, with decades of experience, always make typos. So there are all the letters that start with, all the words that start with A. Let's try all the words that start with TR. There are no words that start with TR. Okay, that's odd. There's TH. Okay, let's try TH. At least like train or something would be in there. There we go. Lots of THs. So it works for THE, different lengths as well. Yay! How are we feeling about for loops and enhanced for loops now? Are they everything you ever dreamed of and more? A plus? A horrible travesty of humanity and us never speak of them again? A minus? Or somewhere in the middle, a tilde?